I'm going to do my best to speak to Amanda's vision. And Amanda's a director that I'm biased towards, obviously. I love her, and I think she's a heartfelt, intelligent, maybe genius director. But, so I think that Amanda's draw to Into the Woods, first of all, like, people have seen Into the Woods, yes?
Yes.
Or heard it? Yes.
Okay.
A lot?
Okay.
Okay, good.
All right.
So, you know, if you haven't, the story is about a bunch of people who want some things, and then they go into the woods to get those things. And then once they got those things, they feel like they're happy, but maybe they're not really happy. And then because they got those things, there's a global catastrophe that they all have to come together and decide that maybe they need to look at the bigger picture and not just the things that they want. And then it's over. So that is Into the Woods.
Very simple.
Very simple story. And then obviously it's interesting because it's all of these fairy tales that we know. So it's a lot of Grimm's fairy tales. So it's Little Red Riding Hood, which is a German fairy tale. Let's see, Cinderella is really old, probably from China, but the one that we know is like Italian. And then Jack and the Beanstalk is an English fairy tale. And then we have the baker and his wife, which isn't really a fairy tale, but it reads like a fairy tale, and that's kind of central to the story, about a woman who sort of wants a child and is sort of coming to terms with her own relationship with her husband. And so those characters there's like the joy of watching the characters that we know and the costumes that suggest those characters, but they're really specific individual people with really interesting stories, and the actors have done a tremendous job and Amanda's done a tremendous job of encouraging like the humanity of those characters. So they're not archetypal, they're not boring, they're people. So that has been really exciting to watch, is just how Amanda's been able to craft this story and allow the actors to be human and exciting to watch and fun and entertaining and be their creative, impulsive selves, which has crafted like a really fun and exciting story to watch. And also like deeper than I think you would think it could be, given it being a fairy tale and being kind of obvious in some ways. I'm really struck by it. Like every time I watch, I feel pretty emotional about it. So like I think that what's interesting about Steve Sondheim to Amanda about Into the Woods with the music is that, and you'll see when you see that the orchestra is on stage, similar to My Fair Lady, the piano is center stage because, as Amanda says, that's just what I do. The magic of that is stunning, and the music is really forefront. Because Amanda, I think, thinks that the score in this case is maybe a little stronger than the book, and it really is the forward idea of the piece is really driven by its musical composition. And being music director and director, she's been really detailed in how she crafts the music to help tell the story. Making sort of taking notes and making changes in certain ways that illuminate the score. And she said, like throughout all of music rehearsals, which usually occur with the music director outside of rehearsal, in this case, Amanda had the benefit of both directing and being music director, so everything happened with Amanda. She would say that this was going to be like the most note perfect Into the Woods like ever. Because when you really get the notes right, you understand tonally, musically, storytelling-wise, why that's the note and not the thing that you heard on the recording. But that is the note, and that is the sequence. This syllable does drag on. It's very Shakespearean in ways, like this note does drag on because of this idea. This is what's going on internally. I think that the story is, it does enter in this sort of fun way. But it moves into the second half in a really compelling way that I don't think is past understanding at all. In fact, I think it's really visceral. is that something big happens, some large, like a giant comes, and like we have to figure out what to do about that.
Yeah.
And there are no heroes like there usually are. Like no one's coming in to save the day, which I think might be the place where you might go, well, somebody's going to save the day. But I think that's familiar, that there's a huge problem that everyone has to think to solve. It's incredible, it's moving. I think it's really real about life, so it's emotional for me too. But it's not scary, it's fascinating and just wonderful storytelling. And the characters deal with it in really interesting ways.